We also get asked commonly, can I get credit for past studies? So quite often what happens is people have gone off to university, or they may have done some short courses, or maybe even a previous qualification. And where you get credit from those past studies quite often is actually what's called credit transfer. So the way that credit transfer works is that if you have completed the exact same unit previously, could be through another qualification or from previous training, or it's a specific equivalent, and we saw before in our training package when we looked at it that particular units might be equivalent. So if you've completed an exact same qualification unit, or the unit is equivalent, then you can obtain what's called credit transfer. In other words, you get basically a tick, and you don't need to complete the same studies over and over. However, the RTO will ask you for a certified copy of your certificate and transcript, or the statement of attainment itself. And so this is the evidence that demonstrates that you've actually completed those particular units. These qualifications, transcripts and certificates are actually nationally recognised, and that means that they're portable. So regardless of which RTO you've actually undertaken the qualification with, under the regulations for RTOs, they are required to recognise anything that you have previously provided or completed, provided it's a current qualification, current unit, or is equivalent to one of those current qualifications or units. What RTOs will do is go and look up what you've completed on training.gov.au, and they will then make a judgment as to whether that's deemed to be equivalent to what you've currently completed. Now, where we see a couple of potential issues in this particular space is that not everyone constantly updates their qualifications. As I mentioned earlier, qualifications do get updated, the number of units change, the particular aspects of the units change, and sometimes a qualification that was current only 2 or 3 years ago may not be current anymore, and it may also not be equivalent. And so if the qualification and the units that you've completed are not equivalent, unfortunately there's nothing that the RTO can do about this, and you may find that some of the work that you've done previously may not be equivalent. Therefore, you can't get a credit transfer. We also find that we have a lot of students that, for example, have gone and done particular studies at university. Now, university units are not identical to vocational education and training units. Therefore, you can't actually achieve credit transfer from previous studies in university or even short courses that you've done. Okay? If you don't have a statement of attainment or the certificate and transcript, and you can't provide the specific units that are equivalent or identical to the current units, then unfortunately credit transfer doesn't apply.